and introductory comments to inviting our guests to the national platform. After our guest speaks, you will have the opportunity as journalists to interact through questions. I'd like to invite Deputy Minister Daniel Sando to the national platform.
So, Minister Daniel Sando, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Ministry.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here again to cover another edition of the MICAT regular press briefing. We are making progress day by day as a government and as a country. As a ministry, we intend to communicate factual information about the government's progress on a weekly basis. And the MICAT regular press briefing is a premier platform for the dissemination of government information. A lot is happening in the country, a lot of topical issues as well. And today, press briefing, we have the executive chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, Councillor Zul. Of course, all of the media publications that you have seen following the decision of the president yesterday, she's going to provide clarity where needed. She's also going to lay out some of the activities the LACC is involved with. Of course, we know they are pending investigation. Members of the press, she will be open after the presentation to questions from you so that the public can hear some of the good things that the LACC is doing on the anti-corruption front. Before we take the LACC course, Honorable Jeremy Pierre is also going to make some strong remarks on behalf of the government of Liberia, laying out some of the good things that are happening in the energy sector, road infrastructure, and just across the country. Overall, he's going to lay out government progress in strategic sectors of the economy. So, we expect that your gadgets are in place, and please turn your cell phone on silent to avoid distraction. As announced, seize the moment to invite the official spokesperson of the Liberian government, Honorable Jeremy Pierre, to the podium.
Anyway, you're welcome. It's good to have all of you. I'm happy that you're all committing yourselves to the work you do. There is a teamwork. If I come staying here every Tuesday and Thursday in Banana on the other side, without press conference, which means our work is hinged on your presence. So I want to thank you. I'd like to also welcome my dear sister, so I know she come here a couple of times. On those occasions that she came, I was out on assignment. So I'm glad that I'm speaking with you today. Welcome. Today is World Radio Day. And as a communication ministry, I'd like to congratulate all journalists, especially broadcasters, occasion of World Radio Day. Today is celebrated on the 13th of February each year, established by UNESCO in 2011. The day aims to raise awareness on the importance of radio as a medium of communication, information, and entertainment. It highlights the role of radio in promoting freedom of expression, providing a platform for dialogue, and fostering cultural diversity. Each year, World Radio Day has a specific theme that reflects current issues and trends in the world of radio broadcasting. This year's observance of World Radio Day is themed Radio and Climate Change. The term made an important subject that emphasizes the pivotal role of radio in disseminating information, raising awareness, and catalyzing actions on climate-related issues. We are told that a formal program commemorating this year's event has been hosted at the Association of Liberia Community Radios in Pinsville at the City Hall. It is expected to bring together all LACC members, national and international media development partners, government officials, and other stakeholders. Transparency International has released the 2024 Corruption Perception Index. And the government of Liberia welcomes the report, which ranks our country 27 out of 100, 0 being the lowest achievement and 100 being the highest. And this rank reflects a 2-point minimum leap forward. Small as it is, but it's a significant step in our anti-corruption drive. It departs from our previous position, which was 25 out of 100 in 2023. While recognizing that this is progress, even though very marginal, the government notes that it is a significant and major step in the right direction. But we also acknowledge that much work still needs to be done. Because between 2014 to 2023, the country dropped 12 points. The 2024 result now puts the country at the point of 10. The government also takes note of what we see and consider a constructive caution from the Center for Transparency and Accountability Center that the Bouaka administration should not be complicit based on the 2-point lead, but that they should do more because there's still a lot to be done. We acknowledge that, and we agree that there is a lot to be done. The President and the government will take note of some of the other observations in the report, as well as the critical comments made by Centar in releasing the report. We do not see these anti-graft institutions as rivals. So from time to time, we pay attention to what they say. We may disagree when they say something that we don't believe is a fact, but we'll continue to respect them and value their work, because in the end, it benefits the country. President Bouaka has departed the country this morning for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate in the 38th Ordinary Session of the African Union Assembly, that is scheduled to take place between February 14 and 16. The Summit for Africans through reparation will convene head of state and government across the continent to deliberate on pressing issues affecting Africa and establish a policy priority for the upcoming year. The President is also expected to engage in discussion focusing on sustainable financing mechanisms for quality education and skill development in Africa, aligning with Liberia's commitment to advancing educational opportunities and economic growth. The President is accompanied by a delegation of senior government officials, including Foreign Minister Excellency Cyril Nyanti, the Minister of State with a portfolio, MICAT, and Economic Advisor Wale Kamara. Other members of the delegation include Grand Bassa County Senator Bezenga Finley, Chair on Executive in the House of Representatives, Honorable Sekou Kane, who will participate in various high-level meetings and side events at the summit. This joining marks President Waka's first attendance of an African Union summit since assuming power in January of 2024. His participation underscores Liberia's dedication to active engagement in continental affairs and collaboration with fellow African nations to address shared challenges and promote sustainable development. While he's away, he will also hold bilateral meetings with other African leaders on matters of mutual interest, including regional security, economic cooperation, and strategies to combat climate change. The Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, the Honorable Sylvester Grizzly, chaired the Cabinet in consultation with the Vice President in the absence of the President. President Waka and the delegation are expected back in Liberia on February 17th. As you may all be aware, and we need to echo that because when we get bad news, we run with it. The things that are positive can easily be buried. And that's what I'm glad the LACC boss is here. But President Waka took a very decisive action to suspend a number of government officials for failure to declare their assets. The Code of Conduct mandates public officials to declare their assets within 30 days of taking over their offices. Some of the individuals who were suspended by the President, they then in their positions for much longer time. The President was flexible. Sometimes he gave them ultimatum to do so within 10 days. And yet still some didn't see the necessity. So the action of suspension came based on a full briefing or the provision of the listing from the LACC on those who were considered non-compliant. The rest of the details about the suspension order is already known to the media, but we wanted to underscore that those who believe that the President and his administration are not serious, for some to say paying lip service, these actions should convince you, or at least give you some inclination that the President and his government take the anti-corruption effort very seriously. And that is the reason why I've always said, I will repeat, those who are heading or working in the different anti-corruption institutions, whether it's the LACC, whether it is the GSC, whether it is the IAA, they are being allowed to do their work without interference from the President or the Executive collectively. All that we ask for, because these things involve people's character, is that people should be, or these institutions should be very meticulous in doing what they do. And by the time they reach conclusion about whether John Brown did X, Y, Z, they should be supported with all the facts, so that when the prosecutorial arm of the government decides to take court action, they can defend the charges and that they can pursue those cases successfully in the court of law. But for as long as President Waka is in charge of the country, all of these institutions can do their work fearlessly, go to bed without thinking that somebody will run after them. In fact, that's why the government made sure they are protected. You saw the LACC boss coming, there are huge police messages now already. So you want to go do something because of our work, you gotta face that them first. So we continue to expand our space so they can do what they're supposed to do, because the truth is, it's a small country, blessed with resources, but perhaps the most backward on the continent. So we need to be asking ourselves why. There could be many reasons, but there's no doubt that one of the reasons of our backwardness is corruption. And that's why it should be an effort that should be embraced by all of us. I know most times the focus is on government and government officials. But to completely uproot corruption, we got to take it way down the line. People got to start beating the cup in the butt for it to go into the cup of rest and be reduced for them to make more profit. Teachers should not take bribe from students to give them grade. In our different small organizations, and we are put in charge of finances, we should not convert them, for our own use. You see, because those of us who can come to government, we're not Indians. We come from over there. We come from churches, we come from mosques, we come from different community-based organizations. We are generally some people will be information ministers tomorrow. So the things you will do here will not be what you learn here, it will be the things you took from down there that you bring them. So to tackle the issue of corruption, it must go deep down to the fabric of society. That's where people will come from before they come to public service. We've had a couple of good news in the energy sector. I know there's been too much talk about energy, electricity. Some people say the heat killing them. And normally when I hear a lot, because I live in a part of Monrovia that has never had electricity in Broadway, Park of Commons. So I take it away from myself, not about me, but I look around me and I see all the ordinary people who live there. For them to see electricity, they got to be a generator or community current. The state shows some kind of resilience. Those of us who got it every day. On the current goals, then LACC is a Western institution on earth, or in Liberia. To the extent that sometimes we attempt to distort information. We do have about 50 megawatts of current from Côte d'Ivoire. So Côte d'Ivoire decided that because they have some challenges too, they decided that they would cut that 50 megawatts of electricity supply to Liberia by 7.5%. What that meant is that you're reducing the thing from 50% to another level just by 7.5%. So those of you who are mathematicians, you can do the math. And so what 7.5% of 50 represents. If you remove that from the total, it means what it's giving us is the balance of the subtraction of that 7.5%. But people rarely, all social media, all over the place to say, I will now review the current and give it up to 7.5 megawatts. People comfortably spoke to that. Some instead of it removed. And sometimes you get confused and don't say, but so what about this that you celebrate? You got all your energy challenges here. Your hydro is supposed to be 8 megawatts. It has some challenges here. The power station there on the Bushel Island, I think they're giving away about 38 megawatts. And the whole CLSG arrangements will bring 50. They say we reduce it 50%, 5%. People turn it around and say, no, they're reducing the whole thing to 7.5 megawatts. And then for others, it was of cost to celebrate. What do we want for our country? So the Vice President over the weekend decided to take some leadership. He called all the actors in the energy sector. And then you look around and see who are some of the people who served in the sector before that are still around. Harry Noah and others. And they assembled them in Neighbor. And they took some time to talk about the energy problem and made some very concrete and tangible conclusions. One of them is, the water level will always drop. Once it is, we can't keep using it as a complaint as a government. We got to find a solution. So part of what they thought to do is, yes, we continue to engage the CLSGO process. But one of the things they decided to do is that let's go back to the bushel power plant. What's the capacity there? The found that the capacity there is such that it can host machines that will provide at least 150 megawatts of electricity. But right now it's operating with machines that are giving us just 38 megawatts. So they've agreed with the collaboration of our partners that they will add more HFO machines to those facilities that will produce additional 100 megawatts of power. Added to the 38, that plant alone will be able to provide 138 megawatts, which is far more than what the entire hydro will provide. And what that will do, because all it needs is to just find a heavy fuel oil that runs the machines. So during the dry season, while the water level goes down, we focus on generating power to the capacity that is required using that thermal plant on Bushel Island. That's one of the critical decisions they took. Many of the substations that were built to support the power grid have been open. The VP was at RIA around unification time, where the substation finalized with EU support has been turned over. Through that substation, all of the individuals, there's a bridge when you go into the airport. I think that's the only bridge on that road. From the point of that bridge all the way to the Rabat International Airport, that substation will be able to provide electricity for them. What it does now is that the airport, rather than just relying on generators, will now be connected to the national power grid. It has several of those substations around. Another one is at Shuffling, another one is on Tupo Road. You have one on the highway going to Kakata, several of them. That's the initial infrastructure you need before you can distribute and transmit the power. So with these substations all over the place, it is estimated that in the relatively short period of time, additional 40,000 households will be connected to the national power grid. And this is a step in the right direction to try to end our challenge with electricity, because it undermines a lot of things, including one of the things the government wants to do, the promotion and development of tourism. Go to our hotels. The money they charge so high because most of them are operating on generator. If you compare that to going to places like Gambia, maybe the hotel you pay $250 for a year, you pay $60 in Gambia, the same quality. Because the source of power is cheap. So Gambia does not depend on resources and this. No. The source of the national development budget is tourism. Because they have the infrastructure. What we're trying to do, what we're talking about energy, on the road network that are taking place. And by the way, next week, we're taking our road trip with the MICAT reporters. We want you to go on the highway leading to the RIA and see the huge progress that has been made. We'll take you to Bushel Island where I live, and I'll pass through that road every day. So you see what is happening there, chicken soup factory, you know what is happening there. All across where public work is making intervention and making the roads work again. We'll take you on our bus tour so that we don't just talk about these things here. We take all these very cameras you have here, and those who are following you will be able to see with their eyes what is happening rather than just hearing us talking about it. As a country, we've been challenged for a long time, but we're making progress, and we're making those progress steadily. And all of us need to join hands, in taking the country forward rather than just wanting to see the country down. And that brings me to another talking point, which will be the final before I call the LACC comes. There's a time for everything, so says the Bible. So in politics, there's a time for elections. And when that time is over, there's another time. There's a time to go. We've tried so hard to remain focused and not be drawn into politics. But still, there are others who are very determined to say, no, don't do anything, let keep doing politics. Even though when that politics time comes, you don't not see what they do there, but their results. But then after that, all the big talks will come. The United Nations is the premier global institution. It brings together 193 countries. But 15 of those countries are considered the most powerful among the 93. And they put themselves together in a structure that is called the United Nations Security Council. They took 5 of the positions and gave it to some strong countries. Those countries are considered the most powerful. They got veto power. Anything that group wants to do, when any of them say a veto it, then you went back to square one. But it also provided space for additional 10 countries. That's why they call them non-permanent members of the Security Council, because they have a 2-year term. And it is an honor for every country that do have a chance to serve on the Security Council. So we have an opportunity to be there. The government has been mobilizing. We try to take politics away from this. We've invited everybody whenever a step has been taken towards that process. Of course, we respect people's right to say, I don't want to get involved. But it is also as good as it should be that you just stay clear of it if you don't want to get involved and don't pull it down. So, we listen to a comment from Mr. Cummings, the leader of the ANC. And he said, our bid for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council is unlikely to materialize. One will be asking, why will a major politician who tomorrow will be president is hoping that his country's bid for a seat on the Security Council does not come to fruition? But the strange thing is, it was just an open and loose comment with no data to support what he said. Because politics is also science. If you say this thing can happen, tell us why. But the question also is, what have you done to help it happen if you believe that it will not materialize? This is your country. And this is a country you wanted to lead. If the people had not agreed, if the people were to agree, you will be the president. You know they disagree. So only 1% of them say they support you. That's fair. That's democracy. That's their right. But then you want to punish the people in their country because they gave only 1% of the vote. That even their desire to make progress is something you don't wish to happen. What has been his engagement with the country since the election? Has he breaking one now, wanting to thank all these anti-graft institutions to say, you guys have been bold, you're courageous, you're doing a great work, keep it up? I'm not sure. Has he said a word since the country was announced as a nation qualified for Compact 2, I don't know if you guys are media people, really got to show me why you said that. This is the companies have been missing action. And the only thing that motivated to come and speak is to cast that cloud over the country's desire to be a member of the Security Council. These are the political leaders we have. It must happen whenever they are in charge. If it is not them, nothing should happen. So no wonder why we are as old as we are in this country like this. All the countries around us, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, they all got their independence in the 1960s. We got ours in the 1940s. Compare us with them. You go to Ghana, they got all the political differences. You come to the election, the MPP win, MDC win. After the election, you talk to anybody, whether that in MPP or in MDC, he insists that their country is the best in the whole wide world. In America, all that you see happening there, Democrat, Republican, this, that. When it comes to the country, they all stand up for the great America. No American politician will cast that flag over America's desire to get involved with something. Because you see, your voice demotivate people. Instead of you as a political leader telling people this is something that is good for our country, let the population rally, let go for it, this is Liberia's time, we can make it. It's very unlikely that Liberia will materialize. Political leader. If you're not ready to help the country, don't stand in the way of the country. Because you hold no magical key to anything that will happen here. So with or without you, what should happen will happen. As far as we know, the country is moving on. And the bid for the non-permanent seat on the U.S. Security Council will be a resounding reality. Whether Mr. Coming elects it or not, this country, or its current leadership, will be there. Doesn't he look around? There were people with me yesterday who said some of the most terrible things about President Waka. You see them with us? So what we're doing there is we're trying to run a country. We are not trying to build a political court. Yesterday I was looking through the social media and I saw that the leadership of the Unity Party, some representative of the leadership, went to see law. And said, be fearless. Don't be afraid of anything. Do your work. Let's be honest with ourselves. In the most recent time that will happen, because everything is about politics. Somebody will say, oh, that job you put there, so you want our government, everything you do will not be correct. No, they see it out. Because she brings her own credibility to the job she's going to do. The professional person, the lawyer, who will always have a life outside of the government. And we don't want to compromise that for anything. But we quit to judge people. That's part of our country. So they wanted to assure her that as a party that is supposed to be the ruling party, is supposed to work at the Anti-Corruption Institution. They just wanted to do the right thing. And that it should be fearless. They're doing their part. This political leader has never even said to them, thank you. Never say, you guys are so courageous. I've never seen this in the country history before. You keep it up. But he's looking for things that will dampen the mood of the people. In other words, he was saying to people, don't waste your time with people. That one UN Security Council thing you're talking about, that you went for. Therefore, there are 193 countries going to vote. We didn't need all 193. There are 127, that's why the vote cost for that. But we get over 180 countries voting for us. Then he asks us, thank you. Madam, Executive Chairperson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to the Ministry for affording us another opportunity to appear here to bring the public to speak about our programs and activities at the LACC. This is part of the work we do. We have a mandate to educate the public about corruption and the ills about corruption and the benefits that come with eradicating corruption in Liberia. So according to the agenda, I'm supposed to speak on the work that the Commission does in fulfillment of our statute. So I know the way of saying you're looking for asset declaration, but we will go through our activities and then we'll get to the asset declaration, which is part of our activities. So for the year 2022, in keeping with its mandate to investigate, persecute acts of corruption, and educate and prevent corruption in Liberia, the LACC undertook several activities which yield results. And I'm going to take these results by department. So at the LACC, we have 4 departments. One of the departments is the Department of Investigation and Monitoring. The next department is the Department of Education and Prevention. And the last department, but not the least, is the Department of Administration. So for 2024, we have been coming and informing the public about our investigative efforts. Last year, in total, we investigated and completed 24 cases. We have done our annual report. We have published it on our website in keeping with the law. We have also served our principals, the executive branch of government, the legislative branch of government. But then back to the investigative efforts. In 2024, we investigated 24 cases, and I'll just name some of them. We investigated the Ministry of Finance. We completed that case. We investigated the WASH Commission, local, the Ministry of State payroll pardoning case, in addition to other cases that were brought in either by whistleblower or that we took from the media. But basically, I'm saying, and I want to clarify that we investigated and concluded 24 cases. I will ask the media to work with us to just maybe share a listing of those cases that we have concluded. I know that most of the time the question that I get is, why don't you speak on the investigation that you conduct? Again, I would like to use this opportunity to say to the public, it makes sense, and it will be something that I would love to do, to carry the public ahead or to carry them along with the LACC as we do our investigation. It will be something that I will really welcome to come and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have investigated John Doe for the amount of this, and we charge him with, let's say, theft of property, this application of property, In conclusion, we are going to prosecute him on this day. But my hands are tied because the act establishing the LACC as amended in 2022 prohibits me in any form and manner to make these revelations, especially when I am investigating. I will encourage us to take a copy of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Act of 2022. It's on our website, and just go through it. You'll understand what we can do and what we cannot do. We didn't make the law. The legislature, in its wisdom, decided that the LACC will be prohibited from speaking on investigation. Simply, and I will just give the logic behind it. Under our law, you are presumed innocent until you are tried, you are given due diligence, you are tried by a competent court of jurisdiction. And when that court can come up and hold you guilty, then you are guilty. And so because of that, it is protected under our Constitution. It is the right under the Constitution for every person who is accused to be presumed innocent until you are tried and you are found guilty. This is the logic behind why we will not come to the public to give us information regarding our investigation. Additionally, we are a security institution. If we come to the public and start saying step by step what we are doing in investigation, who our intels are, what it does is it places the person who's being investigated on the alert, because they will know exactly what to do. Criminals are very smart. By the time we start saying our next action is to move in to the bank and get account information, you will see something will happen that will make the entire process to be compromised. So today again, I want to reiterate, the LACC is hiding nothing from the public. We will just ask the public to please work with us. We will not release investigative information when we are investigating. The law says we will only release investigative information. Even now that we have concluded the 24 cases, we cannot still come out to say what is the outcome until we go to criminal proceed, until we obtain an indictment, until we serve the indictment on the person. Then we can come to the public and say, today we have arrested Mr. John Brown for this crime, and then we will, disclose the report on the entire investigation. We opened the year with high-level corruption cases again. I guess you guys have been following us. Currently, we started the year. We have 6 cases that we are currently doing right now. We have, again, the knockout case. We are working on the National Rule Fund case. We are working on the CBL case. We are working on the LTA case. And we are working on the LRRC case, which we are trying our best to be able to conclude by the end of this first quarter. For the LTA and the LRRC case, because it started last year, we are trying to conclude it by the end of February. But I know the public is hungry for information. The public also is concerned because investigation takes time, it delays. And it's not something that we are doing intentionally. So for example, we are investigating John Doe. We bring him, he comes with his lawyer. He has read his rights. Sometimes the lawyer will say, can you give us 2 weeks for our client to go and compile documents to come back? Sometimes the institution we are investigating, so for example, we're investigating LACC. Sometimes the new head of the institution will say, can you give us time to put the documents together? Sometimes our people have to physically leave Monrovia. Some of the cases we are investigating in Bacolod County, we have to move our entire investigative team, go there, do interviews, do physical verification, and come back and compile a report. This is not intended to delay, but it's just that we want to be sure. We don't want a situation LACC goes to court, and because we did not do our homework properly, the case will go against the government of Liberia, which is not a good reflection of our efforts to fight corruption. I want to, at this time, assure the public that we are working closely with the court. In the next few weeks, we will be coming up with announcement on indictments. In these cases that we have concluded, we will be coming out with indictment in a couple of them. So for the investigation, this is what I have to say for now for our investigative efforts. For prosecution, last year we prosecuted 6 cases. And let me just clarify, when we say prosecution, it does not only mean when we go to court and argue and present evidence and the judgment is given in the case. From the day we get indictment up to the day we get judgment or verdict in the case is the prosecution process. So last year, we got indictment in 6 cases. One is the LACC case, the Red Cross case, the Planned Parenthood, we tried the case, and the MICAT County case. I'm sure we have all been following this case due to the overcrowdedness of the docket of the criminal proceeding, as well as the jurisdiction of the case. We decided to try this case. We started from MICAT County, but because the people who were being prosecuted live in MICAT County, the jurors live in MICAT County, we filed a motion before the judge for us to move the case to another county. The judge decided to move the case to Bangka County. We went to trial. We did everything humanly possible. As you all know, this case was predicated upon an audio recording that came up. It was all over this place here, and then the Front Page Africa reported it. Based on that, we went to court. We presented all the evidence to the jurors. The jurors, in their frame of mind, decided that the people cannot be held liable for their action in this case. On all 6 counts, all the defendants, those jurors said that those people cannot be held, not even liable, guilty. These are some of the things that frustrates our effort. Because I continue to say, the fight against corruption is not just for the LACC, it's for all of us. We do our part, we compile the reports, we compile the pieces of evidence, we get lawyers, we get to court, we present our case, and we expect you to put on a rational mind. You need to understand what is it that is obtaining. The MICAT County case is a case where our partners, the USAID, gave money to the government of the Republic of Liberia to be used for the MICAT County Health Hospital. That reporting was all around here. People were sitting and talking and deciding how to divide money. Pray tell me, you as a citizen performing your duty as a juror, you in your right frame of mind, you decided that those people were not guilty. These are the issues we have. But we are not deterred. We'll continue to go to court. We'll continue to provide the awareness. We'll continue to work with the civil society organizations to do this awareness. We'll continue to work with the judiciary to keep our jurors aware, make them aware on the repercussions, on the results of their action. So for 2025, we have set targets for investigation. We decided that we will do 4 cases every quarter on the books. However, it's possible when we have whistleblowers who walk in and present cases to us, we'll take those cases on. It's just that for our strategy for this year, these are the cases we are going to take on. For prosecution, we decided that we'll work with the court to take on at least one case every quarter. So for this year, we intend to try 4 cases and see it to the logical conclusion. Now it brings me to our education and prevention activities. We have been talking all this issue about prosecution. Prosecution is the end result of the corrupt act. But what can we do at the LACC to prevent these corrupt acts? This is where education comes in. Education, we need to educate. Sometimes, if you look at some of the investigative reports, especially when it comes to internal procedures and practices in our agencies and ministries, some of the cases, most of the issue has to do with administrative lapses. The next step we are going to take at the LACC is to begin to do risk assessment with selected ministry. We'll start off the pilot phase to be able to move into ministries and agencies, especially high-profile ministries and agencies, to be able to identify what are the processes and procedures and identify lapses to be able to make recommendations to them. We are also going to take our anti-corruption efforts outside of Monrovia. Decentralization is good. My executive director just walking, I should have been waiting at a meeting at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. We are trying to identify service centers in a rural area so that at least we can be able to establish offices and be able to hire staff that will sit there to oversee those offices, to help us, just collect information regarding corruption and also present service to the public on that side. We are going to take our anti-corruption efforts outside Monrovia. Monrovia is not Liberia, and this is something that we highly take on our agenda, and this year we are going to prioritize that. So, currently, we have a couple of projects running with the UNDP for awareness. We have gone last year, we went into several counties, including Bon County, Bombay County, Grand Bassa County, Nimba County, doing awareness program. We have started engagement with the Ministry of Education to be able to include anti-corruption, specifically integrity courses in our curriculum. We are working closely with the Ministry of Education. Once that is concluded, we will do a formal launch to the public. These are all the efforts we are currently undertaking in our fight against corruption. Now, the most important for today is the issue of the asset declaration. Since May of 2024, in fact, since December of 2023, the LACC started awareness around asset declaration. We started with the exiting officials of the former government. We carried on our exercise and we required them to declare their assets. And for that exercise, we had over 250 exiting officials that came in. Then in January, we started the exercise for this government, for incoming government officials. The president and the vice president, they came in February, they started the process and they declared their assets. And then we saw other officials of government come in and declare their assets. And then in May of 2024, we specifically issued a regulation for 2024, setting June 31st as the deadline for asset declaration filing for all officials of government who were appointed, who were elected, and just public officials who work in government. That exercise concluded on June 31st, and we came right here to MICAT, and we provided information, and then in August we extended that exercise up to August. Then we published our listing. The exercise went on. I went on radio talk shows I even to the extent took my asset declaration team from our office and placed them in selected ministries and agencies. Those people sat there and people did not declare. And I pulled them out and took them back to my office. Then we did our recommendation to the president. And then on November 27 of 2024, the president issued a directive directing all public officials who have not declared their assets to declare within 10 days. That 10 days elapsed in December, even after the president issued that directive. He did not act immediately on the recommendation because he still wanted to give public officials a chance to come and declare. In 2025, yesterday, the president took action to suspend all public officials who have not declared their assets. At this point, I will just go through what asset declaration is, why we should declare, who are required to declare, and then give statistics on the asset declaration exercise for 2024. I know I've been getting a lot of calls. People are telling me, oh, your published listing, the listing is not accurate. What I can say today is that the LACC, the listing that was published yesterday, we have placed it on our website, we have placed it on our Facebook page, we published in the Front Page Africa newspaper, we published the listing in Front Page Africa newspaper. We also published it in an Inquiry newspaper. There are other listings that are passing around social media. What people are doing, they are going to our website because the whole of 2024, we did our quarterly report, and in our quarterly report, we attached asset listing, asset declaration listing, the compliant and non-compliant listing. What people are doing are going to our previous quarterly report and bringing up reports for which listing have already been amended. We have amended our listing and we stand by our listing. So I will just go through this exercise of just, again, creating awareness about asset declaration. So the first thing would be, somebody will ask, what is asset declaration? What is the purpose and the objective of asset declaration? And we say the primary purpose of the asset declaration exercise is to ensure that public officials comply with the National Code of Conduct and the LACC regulation regarding the declaration of their assets and liability. This exercise is crucial in preventing, detecting illicit enrichments, conflict of interest, and other forms of corruption. I'm going to give an overview of the exercise. For the year 2024, the LACC identified, the word is identified, we identified a total of 1,986 public officials within the 3 branches of government who are required to declare their assets, income, and liability. And I would like to just clarify that this number does not represent the national baseline of Liberia. We still have people who the LACC have not identified. There are people occupying positions that are supposed to declare. They still have not declared. So what we are doing now, in an effort, in a bid to identify the national baseline, we have now begun writing to institutions, ministries, commissions, to give us a listing of their staff along with the position. Based on the position on our listing, we'll be able to pull up who are required to declare. Again, we'll come up with that awareness, and if you did not declare, and you have not declared so far, we will publish the listing of who are supposed to declare based on the national baseline that we have established. So, participation and compliance. As per our regulation, like I said, we're able to identify 1,986 employees and public officials of government who are required to declare. We hereby report that all of this number, 1,370 public officials were compliant. This means this is a 69% compliance. Conversely, 616 public officials from the three branches of government combined did not declare, which represents 31% of non-compliant. And then I will break the compliant and non-compliant down into the three branches. So for the legislative branch, we identify a total of 73 elected representatives. All of that number, only 38 representatives were compliant, demonstrating their commitment to the rule of law, while 36 were non-compliant. We identified 56 administrative staff who are required to declare. All of that number, only 2 staff were compliant. Still in the legislative branch, in the House of Senate, we identified 30 elected senators. Only 14 senators were compliant, demonstrating their commitment to the rule of law, while 16 were not compliant. And then, still in the House of Senate, we identified 44 administrative staff. Only 1 was compliant. We come to the executive branch. We identified 1,333 officials who were appointed and are required to declare their assets. Out of that number, 881 officials fully complied with the declaration, while 454 were non-compliant. We also received 110 asset declarations from non-appointed officials, thus bringing the total number of compliant in the executive branch to 991 public officials and appointed officials of government who declare their assets. In the judiciary branch, we identified 338 persons to declare their assets. All of that, 338 declare their assets. And like I previously said, there are other members and staff from the three branches of government who are not compliant. We are working on modalities to identify them. Once we identify them, we'll be able to put out that listing again to be able to publish it so that they will understand their duty to comply. So this compliance rate indicates progress, but also highlights area for further action. As we move ahead, the LACC extends its appreciation to His Excellency Joseph Nyuma for taking the decisive action to enforce our recommendation by suspending officials who have failed to declare their assets. This bold step reinforces the government's commitment to transparency and accountability and the rule of law. We urge all public officials who have not declared to kindly proceed to the LACC. This is your legal obligation. We call on the citizens to please support us in this effort. The fight against corruption is not only the LACC. Support us in any way you can support us. Provide information. Share positive information, accurate information about the work we do at the LACC. We note that for 2024, the process has elapsed and the report has been presented. However, our doors are still open. In fact, since yesterday, when the pronouncement was made, we had people, they kept me in our office up to 7 hours there. I was sitting and telling people, no, this is not how you do it, this is how you do it. This is what we want to see. We do not need to have the president suspending you before you run and come in to declare your asset. What are we going to do afterwards? We are going to continue monitoring the asset declaration listing. We are not perfect. No man is infallible. I've been seeing posts all on social media that the listing is not accurate. If we put out a listing of 454 persons and all of that report is 3 persons have issues, does that make the listing inaccurate or materially inaccurate? The answer is no. We'll take steps to work with these individuals and amend the listing Afterwards, here, I'm going to again work closely with the Ministry of State and the Civil Service Agency to provide the full clear listing that as at today up to tomorrow, will clear the listing and provide it to the Ministry of State and the Civil Service Agency. And that will be the final listing because we are working closely with people who are coming up and pointing out some of the lapses we have in the report. The listing that we have done for 2024, we started asset verification. I'm sure some public officials have been contacted. In fact, the process, people have been really hostile towards us. When our asset declaration team, we are doing collaboration with the LRA, the National Archive, the LACC. What we do, we go in and do physical verification. So, for example, we will write to you and say we are coming to your place just to verify the accuracy of the information that was presented on your asset declaration. When we go, people refuse to open their gate. The first thing they say, that LACC take me to court. Especially former, not all of them, but some of the former officials of government. These are the feedback we are getting, but we are like I say again, we are not deterred. We'll continue to do our work. We'll engage in constructively, and we will apply the rule of law when it comes to when it comes to these cases. We are going to launch a massive public awareness. I am very, very concerned about local government officials on our listing, high on our listing, our local government officials. We had our strategy on Monday, and we are putting our plan to go into rural areas. We'll just go, like for example, in the region, in Banga County. These are areas that are easily accessible. We will go there, we'll work with the superintendent and just tell him, we are here for 3 days, and you please tell your people to come in and declare their asset. This is an exercise that we are going to do. And in conclusion, even though we did not publish the compliance listing, I just want to clarify that the listing that we have published on our website, that is in the newspaper, that is on our Facebook page, is the non-compliant listings. Non-compliant. If you don't see your name on it, that means you are compliant and you do not have any issue. I want to thank all public officials who were compliant. You do not have to wait. Some people say, I have 30 days. You do not have to wait for 30 days. I will just cite one or two officials. The Minister of Finance, immediately he obtained his appointment letter, he proceeded to the LACC. He did not wait for the 30 days. He proceeded to the LACC and declared his asset. The Executive Director for the War Crime Code, Councillor Jalababu, he did not wait for the 30 days to enact. These are the initiatives we are talking about to help in this fight. But on the overall, I just want to say thank you to the media too. You guys have been our friends. I know it hasn't been easy. Information dissemination in this country, especially now that we have, everybody can be blogger, everybody can just go on the social media and say anything. I just want us to be careful. Whatever we put out there, like the minister was saying, you go to Ghana, these people have their own issues. Sierra Leone, these people have their own issues. They do not portray the country in a negative way that we do. We all need to collectively work together to be able to move Liberia forward. Liberia is the only country that we cannot be deported from. We need all of us to work together. It's a process, and I believe once we can work together, we'll be able to achieve it. I will end on this note and turn it over to the ministry. Thank you.
So she's Mrs. Alexandra Zoe. She is the executive chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LACC. And of course, we are here from the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, a regular Tuesday and Friday press conference here in the Charlesway Press Hall. So wherever you are, however you're watching, my name is Barnes Williams. We will certainly take our weekend break
take the
and do
questions.
join us on next Tuesday for
You listen to the
another fresh
minister,
edition of
presenter, the
the
minister, and the
MICAT
LACC
regular
boss.
press
We have
conference here.
questions for each of them. Please, Pamela will take your question, we will take notes.
Thanks so kindly for watching, and of course the minister will do his final comments and I will call it a day.
So many of us here we know who the media award was. We used to have the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs. He was minister there. I know she was vice bearer to President Bromskin. Am I correct?
Yes, first class.
In the election, so we've been informed by family sources that she has died. She died on February 10, 2025 at the age of 82. She dedicated her life to serving the state, the church, numerous civil society organizations, local community and based organizations, and she died in the United States of America. Her unwavering commitment and selfless contribution touched countless lives, and so she left an indelible mark on all who had the privilege of knowing her. Funeral services will be announced later, and on behalf of the government, we want to extend our sympathies to her family.
That former planning and economic minister, Ms. Liberia Award.
So my name is
Yeah.
Joseph Sadi. I report
And
for
of course,
ABC Radio and
we will
TV.
quickly
So my
for a
question
few
goes to
questions
the
and
commission.
answers.
And on the 21st, he issued a statement as it relates to the issue at the legislature relating to alleged bribery. We can give us the current status of that investigation. And to the Deputy Minister, Mr. Sanders, I have one question for you. Yeah. The president issued a statement at one of the retreats calling on all party officials to resign their post serving in government. Few days ago, you got the letter as vice chair of communication. So will you resign your position at the party level? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Samson Liberia and I report for Care Radio. So my question goes to Councillor. Even though the LACC is not responsible to suspend or take action on lawmakers who refuse to declare asset, with the name of the speaker and the speaker being placed here on your list, is there any communication being written by you to the legislature to take legal action to prevent them? Thank you so much.
So thank you. My name is Mike Bai, and I vote for Sky FM. My question goes to the LACC boss. Yesterday we witnessed very pronouncement of the president. The office was a place of attraction where we saw school officers going there to maybe comply or something. You can tell us what were some of those reasons given why they didn't respond to your earlier call to get their access? If yes, is there any difficulties in terms of accessing the process in access declaration for which those guys didn't meet up the time?
Good afternoon. My name is Mark S. Gadi and I report for Visual Radio. I have two questions for LACC. Number one question is, how will you educate citizens in keeping with the law on holding their elected officials responsible when it comes to the asset declaration? The last question, still LACC, what are some of those challenges facing you and your team in going after corrupt cases? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Strokon Eflama, and I report for Spoon Network. Two questions quickly. I would like to begin with the LACC boss. Thank you for coming and providing this information. I would just like to put a spin on my colleague's question that he asked about legislators. When the impasse on Capitol Hill started, we saw people, lawmakers who they ran to your office, they carry some cash, whether those cash were legitimate or not, we don't know. But they said they went to your office to call your attention to intervene in the matter, especially where the issue about corruption and the cash were dished out to oust the former speaker. I don't know how far that issue, like he said, you can tell us, and where can you please tell us where is the money that took to your office? And the second question to the LACC is, this administration has said that wholly, the minister just reiterated that this government is committed to transparency and accountability as compared to the past administration. If you are just opposed trying to compare the past administration, because you briefly worked in the past administration, to see the number of people who declared their assets, who were committed, the percentage to then, a percentage to now. Can you please, I don't know if you can lay your hand on that, can please tell us so we can know which one of the government more transparent than the other. Then the minister, recently we saw a post from billionaire Moss. He said that there was 17 million will be, to withdraw their support to tax policy advice to government on some 17 million. Can you tell us the impact that will have on the government if they did so under this new administration? And B, to the question is, the United States RD, the USA RD withdrew their support, they announced, and many of the supports to other government institutions are currently struggling. We see government around the world are currently analyzing their data to know where they can shift their budget to prioritize some of the interventions they can do. Is there in any way your government is looking at the withdrawal of the USAID support, and if so, how many millions we are talking about that the government needs to put in to cover the support of the USAID? Thank you.
All right, I'm Larry Debe, I report for FM. My question goes to the LACC here. I really want to know, because according to what you just explained, the president's action was predicated upon your recommendation. Today we have over 450 public officials, they are facing suspension without pay. But I want to know from your end specifically, will there be any penalty, maybe, because what they are about to do now is, next, it will be like declaring an asset at the time they shouldn't have. So I want to know whether maybe, for example, because they are late, so they can pay certain fees in order for them to be allowed. That's 1, 2. Of recent, officials of the Unity Party went and visited you. At the time, there was this saga of 400 or over 450 government officials being suspended. Do you care to inform us some of the discussion that were held, close with you? And then to the minister, on February 11, the President of the Republic was seen in a vehicle inspecting troops, which is the army. And that is not it's not strange, it happens all over the world. But then there is countries like India, China, United Kingdom, who do that. They have about 1 million plus army. But for Liberia, we have just around 2,000. So people are concerned about why the president will use a vehicle when our army, we don't have that huge number. People are concerned whether there is something responsible for which the president was able to use the pickup. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Christopher Desmond, and I report for the of Liberia. One question quickly. I want to know, with the number of cases on your desk, active cases, how do you respond to the recent allegation raised by whistleblower on the social media? Got me? So, with the number of allegations, like the recent one that has just been, so I want to know, how do you respond to these cases swiftly in regards to the active ones you are working with?
Yeah.
So, folks, there you have it, and I should quickly respond to the question in the period section.
Okay. Thank you to everyone for the question, and I will try my best to answer them to the logical conclusion. So I'll begin with Joseph. Joseph mentioned that on the 21st, I'm the 21st of which month or which year, but he said that on the 21st I mentioned I talked about the case at the House of Representatives involving allegation of corruption, representatives the speaker. So, like again, I started my entire basic, and then that question was buttressed by another question they wanted to know what's the current status and to explain and throw light on it. I said when I came here, I said I cannot speak about the investigation, what is the activities of the investigation. All I can say to you that the investigation has not been stopped. It has not stopped. It is currently ongoing. We have people come in. They went through interviews. The only problem is, at some point, it had to stop because we all are aware that there were issues ongoing, and we ourselves were in position as to who, because bringing the representative, they have to go through the speaker, it has to go through the office of the speaker. At that point, we're still figuring out. But as we speak, we are on course with the investigation. We are calling people in. You can rest assured. We have the 14,000, I think 14,800 here, 14,800 it came in. Basically what we do at the LACC, we take the serial number of all, one by one, that money that came in, and then we photocopy the money one by one, and then we keep it with the LACC because it will be presented in court as evidence when we are prosecuting. So the money is still with us, the investigation is ongoing. These are cases we prioritize. This first quarter, we'll be able to conclude on it. The second question from Samson, he inquired what action the LACC has taken given the fact that the speaker name is on the non-compliant listing. I know there's a non-compliant listing out. There is a non-compliant listing out for the House of Representatives. We will take steps to engage the current leadership of the House of Representatives to just let them work with us. Again, we make effort to get the asset declaration staff to go in. I myself will probably go in at some point to be able to just work with them to do their own declaration. But I will use this opportunity again. As elected officials, you are the representative of the people. You do not need to be coming in to take staff from our office who already understaffed, to take staff from our office to go in, to be forcing people to declare their asset. But yes, you have a valid point. I will engage the leadership so that we can ensure that all representatives or all legislature, the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate can be able to fully declare their assets, including their staff. Somebody asked yesterday when the influx of people came in, did they tell us why they did not declare their asset? Absolutely. Some of them came in and said they did not know that the position they were in, they were required to declare asset. Some of them said they did not know that the LACC has this asset declaration regime or exercise ongoing. I had to sit and talk with them and say, like I said, this is something we started since 2024, and the media can barely witness. They have been even helping us to create awareness on this entire exercise. Ignorance to the law is no excuse. Whether you are supposed to declare or not supposed to declare in a spirit of transparency and accountability and fairness, if you are appointed or you are a public official and you sit in a position, even if the LACC have not mentioned your name, for me, when you are coming to government and you make that open declaration to say, hey, this is what I'm coming into government with, what it does is that when you are in government or today tomorrow when you leave in government, when people come out and say, oh, she stole government money or he stole government money, you can be able to point to the asset declaration and say, this is what I came in government with. You can go and compare it with what I'm leaving. But yes, these are some of the issues that were raised. For the people in Monrovia, like I said, ignorance to the law is no excuse. But I definitely empathize with the people in the rural area. And like I said, these are our major concern. We are going to start an exercise where we can go in, move our team at least maybe for a week or so and see how we can collect the maybe we will go and drop the asset declaration form and give them time, and then we'll go back and pick it up. We'll do one exercise for one or two members of the office of the superintendent and say, this is how you're supposed to fill it in, and then please help our people to fill it in. As soon as it's ready, call us, we'll come and pick it up. Like I said, this is a process. We'll make a mistake, and then based on the recommendation, we'll be able to improve on the services we deliver to the public. Somebody asked me, how will you educate citizens to hold their elected officials who do not declare their assets? Again, this is where our education and prevention department will come in. Like I said, this year we fully focusing on decentralization. We're going to start the women groups, and we're starting with youth. Because I believe once we engage these people, we'll be able to get the message across, because they will be the ones to hold their people accountable. The old people, they don't really partake in politics, but the youth, the women, and other groups out there, we are going to engage them. Basically, if you are an elected official representing a particular constituent and you can't even follow the rule of law to declare your assets, then you have an issue. So today, you may say people who cannot do anything to you, but tomorrow you may want to go and run again to get re-elected. We'll tell the people, you hold them at these actions. These are the actions. They can come during campaign season and say a lot of things, but they do not follow those campaign promises. So these will educate the people, will join the net to educate the people on how to hold their elected officials accountable. Somebody asked, what are our challenges? I would not like to dwell on LACC challenges. For me, the challenges cut across the entire government. Basically, we're going to work with what we have. I would like to, in this manner, just clarify that we have been engaging the Ministry of Finance. They have been really working with us to augment our budget. This year, we will work closely with them to get our fundings on time too, because it's one thing to have the money in the budget, and it's another thing to have the money on time. Because when the money is released on time, then you're able to implement these projects on time. But our challenges, we are taking steps. Even the civil service agency, they are working closely with us. They are giving us slots to be able to hire consultants. Last year it was a whole review and of the entire system, but this year they are waiting to us and giving us slot to be able to hire 10 consultants. We are going to utilize that. making sure, especially when it comes to prosecution, our concern this year is for prosecution, because whatever we do, we may do the asset declaration, we do the investigation. If we cannot prosecute to be able to get judgment, we will not recover assets. Our focus this year is to prosecute and be able to recover assets. So we are going to build a team of top-notch Liberian lawyers this year, and we were going to at some point put out that bid to get these consultants to come in to just help us with these cases. We pay them to go and prosecute on behalf of government. But these are just part of the challenges we have, and these are the steps we are taking to address these challenges. Percentage of declaration, former versus current. So let's be fair, the LACC case Board of Commissioner took seat in September of 2023, and immediately, in a few months, we went to elections. So we didn't really have the opportunity to do awareness exercise with the former officials of government. However, when the election results were announced, we immediately came out with the guideline, and like as previously stated, they came in and declared their asset declaration. They did their asset declaration, and we have over 250, which was the first in the history of the LACC to obtain that number of asset declaration. I believe had we had enough time to interact with them, we would have gotten more than that number. For the incoming officials, because this is a process that happened for the whole of 2025, this is why we got this number, and I believe awareness is the key. And so the asset declaration exercise does not end this year, it continues, because as we know, from time to time the president will be making appointments, people will be moved from one position to another. What the law says is that whenever you are removed from one position to another, you have to declare your asset. After 3 years, you have to declare your asset. Upon coming into office, you have to declare your asset. So this is an ongoing exercise. Penalties. I think it's Emmanuel. Emmanuel talked about penalties. As he said, Emmanuel mentioned that in as much as the president has suspended officials, can the LACC impose penalties? If I'm correct, I think that was what his question was. The LACC cannot impose penalties. The LACC can recommend penalties. I would say because they have already been suspended, under the law, there's something called double jeopardy. You can punish somebody twice for the same offense. But the thing is, if the president come out again and say, you're supposed to, if after this 1 month, and you're supposed to declare again, you don't declare, the president has the option to met up additional punishment, which may be different from the suspension. And in worst case, it can be dismissal. So basically, it may not be the same punishment, but if this exercise ends and you do not come, we will recommend dismissal to the president. Somebody asked me what was the discussion with the United Party youth-led officials. As I would just like to clarify that they came in to commend the LACC for the level of efforts they are making towards the fight against corruption. They offered to help us in any way we may need their assistance. They also pledged their support, like I said, to help us. And then they mentioned the GSC report. They were concerned about the cases and the pace